One day, a wealthy merchant who loved to travel set out to discover new lands. He climbed onto his horse, heading off at a steady trot against the scorching heat. When the sun's blistering beam became too much to bear, the man climbed down from his horse, tied the animal to a tree, and decided to take a break under its shadow. Feeling hungry, he put a few dates in his mouth and threw their cores away. Soon after, the man got up to leave, but sudden smoke that started to rise from the ground beneath his feet obscured his way. A giant beast manifested out of the smoke and approached the merchant with a brandished sword. As the man trembled in fear, the beast ordered him to prepare for his death, for the cores he'd thrown away had pierced its son's chest and deprived it of its youth. The merchant begged for his life, but the raging waves inside the beast's heart wouldn't calm without revenge. As a last attempt, the merchant beseeched the beast to give him a year to put his affairs in order and to distribute his wealth among his family. Then, he promised to return back under the very same tree to accept his demise by the hand of the beast. The beast put him under a sacred oath and agreed to let him go for a year. The merchant returned back to his family and explained his bizarre fate, fully prepared to surrender himself to it. The man kept his promise, and once an entire year of living in fear had passed, returned under the very same tree to embrace his death. However, not even an entire year could have prepared him for this moment of utter despair, and he couldn't stop the tears from falling down his face. As the merchant quietly cried under the tree, he saw an old man approaching with a leashed deer. A few moments later, another old man approached with 2 black dogs following closely behind. And just then, a third old man arrived, riding on the back of a mule. The old men were baffled to see a crying merchant in the land of beasts and fairies, and questioned his purpose. After hearing of the merchant's unfortunate fate, the old men promised to help free him of his misery. Just then, the very same beast manifested out of heavy smoke with a face contorted in rage and a huge sword in his hand. The old men begged the beast to forgive the merchant, but the beast's heart still refused to calm without having his revenge. As a last resort, the man with the leashed deer came forward and implored the beast to allow him to recite the story of his deer. If the beast found it interesting, then he should promise to spare 1/3 of the man's blood. The beast agreed, and the man began to tell his strange tale. But that was a story for another day.